Master the art of seduction. How to keep your cool with women. Ever wondered how to stay cool when your partner's words sting like a jellyfish? Join us on today's episode as we decode the art of navigating emotional storms in relationships. We'll delve into the subtle difference between a cry for help and a personal attack, and equip you with the tools to respond with wisdom, not just react with emotion. So, if you're ready to turn those hurtful moments into opportunities for growth and connection, buckle up and get ready to discover the power of emotional intelligence in love. Distinguishing between a cry for help and a personal attack. In the intricate dance of relationships, women, like all of us, experience a tapestry of emotions. Sometimes in moments of frustration, fear, or pain, those emotions can manifest in words that sting and cut deeply. As men, it's crucial that we develop the wisdom and empathy to navigate these emotionally charged situations with care. As Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This sage advice is never more relevant than when faced with hurtful statements from the women we care about. The first step in keeping our composure is to recognize the difference between a personal attack and an emotional outpouring. Personal attacks are deliberate and cruel, designed to wound and belittle. But more often, a woman's sharp words are a spillover of her own inner turmoil, insecurities, unmet needs, or feelings of being misunderstood. They are a clue, a cry for understanding, not a true indictment of your worth. Failing to recognize this distinction can send us spiraling into a destructive cycle of defensiveness and escalation. In the heat of the moment, we may say or do things we later deeply regret, eroding the very foundation of love and trust we've worked so hard to build. Over time, this pattern can lead to scarring resentments and even the painful fracturing of our relationships. Imagine coming home to your girlfriend after her stressful day at work, only to be greeted by biting criticisms about your perceived shortcomings. If you allow yourself to be triggered and react with anger, you'll soon find yourself mired in a vicious argument that leaves you both wounded and exhausted. But if you can pause, breathe, and see the pain beneath her words, you open the door to a conversation of healing and reconnection. The path to becoming a man who can weather these storms with grace starts with honing your emotional intelligence. By learning to identify the patterns and triggers lurking beneath the surface of a woman's hurtful words, you gain the power to respond with wisdom, empathy, and love. As we continue this journey together, we'll arm you with the tools and techniques you need to become the partner every woman dreams of having by her side. A rock of stability and understanding in the tempestuous sea of emotions. By mastering the art of keeping your cool, you won't just improve your relationships, you'll deepen your own resilience and inner peace. So let's dive in and explore how you can transform even the most challenging moments into opportunities for growth, connection, and love. The rewards for both you and the women in your life will be truly profound. Before we move on to the strategies, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a moment where you had to distinguish between a personal attack and a cry for help? If yes, comment 1. If no, comment 0. Strategy 1. Avoiding defensiveness and emotional escalation. As we navigate the rocky terrain of hurtful statements from the women in our lives, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of defensiveness. We feel attacked, misunderstood, and the natural impulse is to protect our ego by lashing out or shutting down. But as Seneca wisely observed, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. Imagine your girlfriend accuses you of not caring about her feelings. In a flash of hurt and anger, you might be tempted to fire back with a list of all the ways you've shown your love and support. But this knee-jerk defensiveness only validates her perspective, fueling the flames of conflict. Instead, picture yourself taking a deep breath, acknowledging the pain beneath her words, and responding with empathy. I hear how much you're hurting right now, and I want to understand better. This simple act of emotional aikido can diffuse the tension and open the door to genuine dialogue. Defensiveness breeds aggression, trapping us in a vicious cycle of escalating emotions. The more we defend, the more our partner feels the need to attack, and so the destructive dance continues. To break this pattern, we must learn to step back, regulate our own emotions, and respond with curiosity and compassion. One powerful tool for disarming defensiveness is the verbal sandwich technique. By bookending our responses with validating statements, we create a safe space for honest communication. For example, instead of reacting to "you never listen to me" with a defensive "that's not true," try "I hear how frustrated you are. I know I can get distracted sometimes, but I truly want to be a better listener. Can you help me understand what you need from me in this moment?" This approach demonstrates your willingness to take responsibility for your part in the dynamic, while also setting a boundary around absorbing undue blame. It's a delicate balance, but one that can transform even the most heated arguments into opportunities for growth and connection. As we master the art of non-defensiveness, we become the eye of the hurricane, a grounding force of calm amidst the swirling chaos of emotions. We learn to see our partner's hurtful words not as a personal indictment, but as a distress signal, a plea for understanding and support. By meeting defensiveness with curiosity, aggression with empathy, we create a new paradigm of communication in our relationships. We become the partners we wish to be, emotionally resilient, psychologically savvy, and deeply attuned to the needs of those we love. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the best revenge is to be unlike the one who performed the injury. Let us rise above the fray of hurtful words and defensive reactions, and instead cultivate the wisdom and compassion to heal even the deepest relationship wounds. Before we go to strategy 2, the second slice of bread, if you find this information valuable, please consider sharing this article with those who could benefit from its message. Word-of-mouth recommendations like these greatly help in spreading knowledge. You can also hit the like button and tip me according to the value you feel you've gained from this work. Your support makes all of this possible, and I truly appreciate it. Strategy 2, the second slice of bread, emphasizing temporality. The first slice of bread, validating emotions. In the heat of an argument, it's all too easy for hurtful statements to fly. "You're so selfish. You never listen to me. I can't stand you right now." These words cut deep, triggering our defensiveness and urge to retaliate. But what if we could diffuse the emotional charge of these statements, creating space for genuine understanding? Enter the first slice of bread in our verbal sandwich technique, validating emotions. By acknowledging the feelings beneath the words, we shift the focus from attack to connection. Imagine your partner hurls an accusation, "You don't care about my needs at all." Instead of launching into a list of counterexamples, try reflecting the emotion. "It sounds like you're feeling really neglected and unimportant in our relationship right now." This simple reframe acknowledges their emotional reality without agreeing with the literal content of their statement. Validating emotions disarms defensiveness by showing that we hear and understand our partner's experience. It says, "I see your pain, and it matters to me, even if we disagree with their interpretation of events." This empathetic approach shifts the dynamic from adversarial to collaborative, paving the way for more productive dialogue. When we validate emotions, we also help our partner take ownership of their feelings. A statement like "you make me feel worthless" becomes "you're struggling with feelings of worthlessness right now." This subtle reframe emphasizes that while we can affect our partner's emotional state, we are not responsible for their reactions. It grants them agency in their emotional world. Validating emotions is a skill that requires practice and patience. It means resisting the urge to correct, argue, or dismiss, temptations that only breed more disconnection. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. By choosing to meet emotion with empathy, we cultivate resilience to weather relational storms. Of course, validating emotions doesn't mean we become emotional punching bags, absorbing endless attacks without boundaries. It's one tool in our communication toolkit, to be balanced with assertiveness and limit setting when necessary. But in the face of hurt and anger, leading with validation can be a powerful first step towards healing and understanding. As we practice this skill, we may find that our partner's emotional outbursts lose their sting. We learn to see the person beneath the pain, to understand that their hurtful words often reflect unmet needs and longings. By meeting those raw places with compassion, we build bridges where there once were walls. Validating emotions is the first slice of bread in our verbal sandwich, a foundation of empathy upon which all productive communication rests. In the next chapter, we'll explore how adding a crucial last phrase can further diffuse the staying power of hurtful statements. The second slice of bread, emphasizing temporality. In the heat of an emotional argument, it's easy to feel like the intensity will last forever. Accusations like, "You're so selfish," or "I can't stand you," seem to carry the weight of permanence, as if they define the entire relationship. But as Seneca wisely observed, all things human are short-lived and perishable. By adding a simple phrase to the end of our emotional statements, we can acknowledge the transient nature of even the most overwhelming feelings. This brings us to the second slice of bread in our verbal sandwich technique, adding "right now" to the end of an emotional statement. Let's revisit our example from the previous chapter. Your partner says, "I feel you don't love me." By tacking on "right now," the statement becomes, "I feel you don't love me right now." This small addition makes a world of difference. Firstly, it emphasizes that the feeling of being unloved is a temporary emotional state, not a permanent reality. It's a fleeting experience, subject to change as circumstances and perceptions shift. This recognition alone can help de-escalate the emotional intensity of the moment. It's a reminder that just as the storm will pass, so too will the intensity of the current feeling. Moreover, adding "right now" subtly reframes the accusation as a confession of a present emotional experience, rather than a timeless indictment of your character or the relationship as a whole. It's the difference between saying, "You're a terrible partner," and "I feel like you're being a terrible partner right now." The first statement feels like an immutable fact. The second acknowledges the fluidity of emotional experiences. By modeling this language ourselves, we encourage our partners to adopt a more nuanced perspective on their own emotions. Instead of getting swept up in the heat of the moment, they may start to recognize the impermanence of their own intense feelings. They may even begin to use this language themselves, saying things like, "I feel so angry at you right now," instead of "you make me furious." This isn't to minimize or dismiss the importance of the emotional experience. It's crucial to validate the realness of the feeling in the present moment. But by adding "right now," we create space for the possibility of change. We acknowledge that while the feeling is intense and overwhelming in the current moment, it's not the whole story of the relationship. By reacting with language that honors the temporary nature of emotional states, we cultivate resilience and perspective in the face of relational challenges. We learn to weather the momentary storms, trusting that calmer seas lie ahead. Benefits of the sandwich strategy. The verbal sandwich technique, adding "I feel" at the beginning and "right now" at the end of an emotional statement, offers a wealth of benefits for managing intense emotions in relationships. By reframing hurtful statements as temporary emotional experiences, this strategy helps us understand the true nature of what's being expressed. When your partner says, "I feel you're a terrible person right now," it becomes clear that they're confessing a present emotional state rather than declaring an immutable fact about your character. This recognition alone can prevent countless unnecessary arguments. Instead of getting defensive and firing back with a counterattack, you can approach the situation with empathy and understanding. You might respond with something like, "I hear that you're feeling really hurt and angry with me right now. Can you tell me more about what's causing those feelings?" By shifting the focus from confrontation to understanding, you create an opportunity for genuine connection and problem solving. Moreover, the sandwich strategy allows you to give your partner the right to their own feelings without agreeing with their assessment of you. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not events that disturb people, it's their judgments concerning them. Just because your partner feels a certain way doesn't mean it's an objective truth. By acknowledging their emotional experience without taking it on as your own, you can maintain your sense of self while still showing up for your partner. It's important to remember that emotional statements, no matter how intense, are fundamentally temporary. Feelings, like the weather, are subject to change. One moment your partner may feel consumed by anger, but given time and space, that anger will inevitably subside. By using the sandwich strategy, you remind both yourself and your partner of the transient nature of emotional storms. This perspective can help you stay patient and composed, trusting that calmer seas lie ahead. Of course, this technique isn't just for managing negative emotions. It's equally valuable to apply the sandwich strategy to positive feelings. When your partner says, "I feel like you're the most amazing man in the world right now," adding that "right now" can help prevent unrealistic expectations and future disappointment. It acknowledges the wonderful feeling in the present moment without turning it into a permanent standard you'll always be held to. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By incorporating the verbal sandwich into your communication toolbox, you enhance the quality of your thoughts about your partner's emotional expressions. You learn to see them as temporary experiences rather than defining statements, which in turn promotes greater resilience and adaptability in your relationship. In the next chapter, we'll explore the art of controlling emotions. Navigating the stormy seas of emotions in a relationship can often feel like trying to sail without a compass. Mastering your emotional responses isn't just about keeping your ship afloat. It's about charting a course toward a healthier, more fulfilling partnership. Strategy 3. The art of controlling emotions. Navigating the stormy seas of emotions in a relationship can often feel like trying to sail without a compass. Mastering your emotional responses isn't just about keeping your ship afloat. It's about charting a course toward a healthier, more fulfilling partnership. Think of yourself as the captain of your emotional vessel. A captain cannot blame the sea for his ship's direction, just as you cannot blame others for how you feel. Owning your emotions means taking the wheel firmly in hand and steering yourself through emotional squalls with purpose and intent. It starts with recognition. For instance, when she comments, "You're always on your phone," instead of snapping back, consider why this comment might sting. Is it guilt, annoyance, or something else? Acknowledge your feelings as your own response, not as a direct consequence of her words. Emotional manipulators often toss their hooks, trying to catch you in nets of guilt or obligation. By recognizing your role in your emotional reactions, you're better equipped to see these tactics for what they are and avoid getting ensnared. For example, if she says, "You'd spend time with me if you really cared," recognize this as a potential manipulation of your feelings of commitment. Respond not with defensiveness, but with reasoned calm, such as, "I care about us deeply, which is why I think it's important we both have time for our own interests as well." Setting boundaries is like drawing lines on a nautical map, guiding your journey and keeping you from straying into treacherous waters. Clear boundaries help prevent resentment and miscommunication, keeping the relationship's waters calm and navigable. Communicate your needs clearly. If you're not a fan of late-night discussions because you're not at your emotional best, express that. I feel we have more productive discussions when we're both fresh in the morning. Can we table this until then? Consistency is key. If she crosses a boundary, remind her of it not as a scolding captain but as a co-navigator who's noticed you're both off course. Phrase it in terms of your feelings to keep the cannons of accusation at bay. I feel overwhelmed when we discuss this at night is less confrontational than you keep bringing this up at the worst times. Just as you set boundaries, encourage her to define hers. Respecting each other's boundaries is like respecting the buoys marking safe passages. Mastering the art of controlling emotions through personal responsibility and setting boundaries doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. Instead, it involves understanding and managing them proactively to avoid emotional shipwrecks. By becoming the skilled captain of your emotional ship and drawing clear maps of your boundaries, you ensure that your relationship sails smoothly toward the horizon of mutual understanding and respect. Remember, a calm sea never made a skilled sailor, but a skilled sailor always knows how to navigate the calmest path through any storm. As Seneca wisely said, "He who is brave is free." Bravely confronting and managing your emotions gives you the freedom to navigate your relationship with wisdom and composure. So, take charge of your emotional ship, set clear boundaries, and sail towards a more harmonious and fulfilling relationship. Strategy 4. If possible, take action. In any relationship, demonstrating empathy through actions often communicates your commitment more powerfully than words alone. When tensions rise and emotions become heated, it's crucial not only to listen, but also to make tangible gestures that show you truly care. Imagine a scenario where she's visibly upset. Rather than defaulting to phrases like, "I'm so used to you being angry," which can invalidate her feelings and widen the emotional gap, engage actively. Show that her emotions impact you. This doesn't mean reciprocating her anger or frustration, but instead offering empathy through your actions. A soothing hug or a gentle touch can reach places words cannot, providing comfort and reassurance that you are present and empathetic, not merely a bystander in her distress. Your body language speaks volumes too. A concerned look, a nod, or simply facing her directly shows you're fully engaged. These non-verbal cues significantly affect how your reactions are perceived and can help soften the emotional tone of the interaction. Moreover, when emotions escalate, clarity in your words becomes essential. Articulate clearly not only what you feel but also what you intend to do about the situation. This includes making promises, offering apologies, and committing to solutions. For instance, if a promise to change certain behaviors is needed, specify what actions you will take and ensure these commitments are realistic. Vague promises can lead to misunderstandings and disappointments. If an apology is warranted, make it sincere and specific. Acknowledge what went wrong and why it hurt her. This shows that you understand the impact of your actions and are taking responsibility. A heartfelt apology can significantly heal emotional wounds. After listening and discussing, it's beneficial to decide together on the steps to resolve the issue, involving both immediate actions and long-term changes. Make sure these commitments are actionable, agreed upon, and most importantly, followed through. Indeed, as Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In the realm of relationships, reacting with thoughtful actions often tells her you care in ways words cannot. This approach does not just bridge emotional distances, but also builds a foundation of trust and mutual respect, essential for any lasting relationship. So, the next time you find yourself in a heated moment, remember that your calm and caring actions can speak louder than any words. Strategy 5. The strategic use of silence. In the tempest of a heated argument, silence often seems like the safest harbor. You might believe, "If I stay quiet, this storm too shall pass." Yet, when she's visibly upset and voicing intense emotions, your silence can be misconstrued as indifference or dismissal. Imagine her feelings echoing in a void, met with no recognition or response. This can intensify her sense of isolation and aggravate the situation you hope to calm. Silence is indeed a double-edged sword. While it can prevent the escalation of tension by allowing her space to articulate her thoughts, it can also suggest a lack of engagement, or, worse, a disregard for her emotions. The art lies not in retreating into silence, but in wielding it with precision. Here's how you can master this balance. Engage actively in silence. As she expresses her feelings, your role is to listen intently. This doesn't mean merely waiting out her words or crafting your next argument. It involves truly engaging with her emotions, understanding the message behind her words, and validating her feelings. This form of silence is rich. It's laden with attention and empathy. After she has shared her emotions, it's essential to break the silence in a manner that confirms your attentive presence. Sidestep dismissive replies such as, "It's late, let's not talk about this now." Opt instead for responses that resonate with understanding and a commitment to resolution. You might say, "I see why you're upset, and I'm glad you shared your feelings with me. Let's work together to resolve this." Support your words with actions that reinforce your commitment to finding solutions. This demonstrates that your silence was not evasion, but a thoughtful pause, giving due respect to her emotions and paving the way for constructive dialogue. Silence, when judiciously used, can de-escalate conflicts and deepen understanding within a relationship. However, it must always be paired with active engagement and transparent communication. By perfecting when to hold silence and when to voice thoughts, you ensure that silence acts as a conduit to greater understanding rather than a barrier. As Epictetus once advised, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. In the context of relationships, embodying philosophy means using silence not just as a shield from conflict, but as a tool to foster deeper connections. Thus, harness the power of strategic silence to bridge gaps in understanding, not widen them. This approach not only maintains peace but also enriches the relationship, steering you both towards more empathetic and effective communication. In conclusion, mastering the art of navigating emotional storms within relationships is a journey of growth and understanding. Remember, behind every hurtful word lies a deeper emotion, yearning for recognition. By distinguishing between personal attacks and cries for help, practicing empathy, mastering our emotional responses, demonstrating care through actions, and using silence strategically, we can transform these challenging moments into opportunities for deeper connection and love. As we embark on this path, we not only become better partners, but also cultivate greater emotional intelligence and resilience within ourselves. The rewards, as we've seen, are truly profound, both for us and the women we cherish. And if you've found these tips helpful in managing your own emotional responses, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, share this video with friends, and leave a comment below sharing your experiences or asking questions. Your engagement really helps spread the word and supports our community. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more insights and strategies like these. Thanks for watching, and remember, every conversation is an opportunity to grow closer, even the tough ones.